الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما سدد لساني نوير جناني صفي أماني وزد برايي. Viewers of Echo from Touba, welcome to the program. So glad today to have a guest visiting from Senegal, a professor well known abroad, especially in Canada. He's going to come back to his own pedigree, a very rich one, mashallah. So buckle up. We're going to have a 45 an hour today program on Echo from Touba with Professor Mamadou Gaye. Professor Mamadou Gaye, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here with you.
Thank you.
This evening. As you said, my name is Muhammad Lamin Gaye, from Sheikh Muhammad Lamin Gaye, from Sheikh Al-Khadim. I'm from Jammoy, from Jurbel. In the meantime, I finished my studies, my university studies and higher education and research in Canada, at the University of Montreal and the University of Quebec. After that, I went for a master's in research, where I did a good work and got a scholarship from CIDA, the Canadian International Development Agency. And I went for a joint program, a PhD, a doctoral program in Canada, in the northern part of Canada, in Saguenay. And I ended it in 2008. And after that, I joined international organizations. I started working with the United Nations Development Program at first, as an anchor and a research scholar in Africa. And these days, I'm an expert and researcher and project manager for different development programs in West Africa, mainly in Senegal, for the World Bank these days. I'm here and happy to be with you and share some thoughts about Muridism, where we have a lot to do and a lot to teach, a lot to research.
Absolutely. So, as you all know, we in the month of the Prophet ﷺ, Rabi al-Awwal, we're going to talk about preserving the legacy of the Prophet ﷺ in the African lands here, where we have our leaders like Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba, who've done a great work in preserving that legacy. Inshallah, we're going to come to that. But first, long life to our Caliph Sheikh Muntaha. May Allah help him and in all these endeavor and give him a long life, a good health, help him all the way. So salam also to all the murid, and congratulations for the Magal we've just passed in Touba. It was a beautiful celebration. We're sitting Touba, call everyone for thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Magal of Touba, heading now to the inshallah the celebration, the Maulidi Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So preserving the legacy of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam in a African perspective with the work of Serine Touba. But first, tell us about our Prophet alayhi salatu wasallam in this beautiful month of Rabi al-Awwal.
Shaitanir Rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Sallallahu ta'ala ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa sallim. Asbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil. We are Muslims and we are Sunnites, and we are always happy to exchange and to talk and to teach something about the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Mainly in these days with different crises, financial, economical, political, social and environmental crisis. We need to think about Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, our Prophet, as a model, as a role model in how to gather humanity in such a way that there is peace, there is togetherness, there's righteousness, and there's really respect. Because we are losing in the world right now respect between the blacks and the whites, respect between East and West, and there is a big issue right now between Arabic world and the Jews. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the one who is in the center of Israel, but he is the center of Palestine at the same time, because we are in the area, in the Arabic, peninsula, where he taught Al-Quran, where he received Al-Quran from God, from the heavenly God, and the Quran is just helping to be the referral, the center of humanity, the center of sharings, the center of solidarity and help toward other people and toward other communities. Islam should be, when we are talking about Maulid Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the birthday, which is coming to us as a moment to go and share with everybody, even with the Jews, even with the Christians, even with the Protestants, the Baptists, and everybody, because we are human and we believe in God. And Shaykh al-Khadim bring it up in another way with a big, work in Ya Rahman Ya Rahim. Rabbi Maestro that everybody knows. But inside it say, Ya Malik al-Mulki Ya Man Jalal Hawadin Irham Jami al-Wara Ya Din Rada. In give peace, give love to all of them, all the humanity. As far as they are humans, as far as they are human beings, we need to share, we need to help, we need to protect and nurture them. This is the way that the Prophet Muhammad is coming to us with Maulid Nabi. We are Muslims, we are Sunnis, and we are Murids. We need to think about how to help people to be together, out of wars, out of fights, out of any kind of unhuman things, like what's going on right now in Europe. People are dying so sadly in Ukraine and other places. And yesterday in some places where you have Muslims, Nagorno-Karabakh, some places in Armenia, some places in Azerbaijan, people are dying today. And we need to think of how Islam, the fundamental Islam, which is black, but which is non-violence, is coming to us. Because SERIGNE TOUBA bring up here another form of Islam, not the Islam that people know, the classical one, but another form of Islam which is sharing, which is working, which is traveling and exchanging with others. That's why Murids are all over the world. They are working, they are traveling, and they are sharing with everybody by being themselves, being Murids. Very, very down to earth, very open-minded, and very, very nice people, like you. Like you.
Thank you so much, Brother Muhammad Gay. That legacy of the Prophet, what is the problem right now? If you can point out and clarify us, what is the problem? Why is it the Quran say, "Innamal mu'minina ikhwatun"? We should be one nation. We should be doing things together. What is stopping Muslims today to be united?
Muslims are always ready to be united, but we have an enemy.
A common one?
A common enemy, which is shaitan, and that shaitan is broken into different pieces in different places, and mostly in the financial world. The financial world is trying to drive the world, because they know that if you're looking for oil, it's in Islam, it's in Muslim countries. That's where you have oil. If you're looking for gas, you have it in those countries. If you're looking for big places where people can gather and bring up some big economy, that's where you see them, in TOUBA. Do you think that people in the Western world accept that Magal, which is bringing 350 billion francs CFA on a yearly basis, is something that they accept? No, they never accept that. They are looking to put us in jeopardy.
I even believe there's much
no,
more
they don't accept us. They don't accept us. Even though SERIGNE TOUBA is not here, we are in such way organized that they can't touch us, but they are going from different ways. The same ways they are going to drive in, to try to set us apart, that's the same way they're doing it with Sunnis and Shiites. Yesterday I was looking to the media. What was said? Arabia Saudi is saying, I will get my nuclear weapon if Iran is permitted to have it. He's not saying if Israel is. He's saying if Iran is Shiite but Muslim. Saudi Arabia is Muslim but Sunni, but they're fighting. They don't like each other. Anytime that you see a fight in that peninsula that is not between Arabic people and others, Jews, no, it's Arabic people. That's between Muslims.
Sharing the same prophet and same
because of one thing, Shaitan is behind, and seeing that if we gather together and we exchange together, we are the driving force of the whole world, of the whole planet.
He's your common enemy.
That's our common enemy, always, ever. And we need now to think of how to bring up back our brothers, Shiis, have brothers, Sunnis in the same table and exchange. That's what Serine TOUBA did. Today, if Magal, in the Safar days, in the 3 days, you can see people from Iran. You can see people from Saudi Arabia.
Right.
You can see anyone that is Muslim that is saying the Shahada, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. This is the difference between Serine TOUBA and the others.
Absolutely.
It bring up everybody together.
Right.
And which is very, very, very interesting is that in our Sufism, we have Mamshera Fal, which is the working side of it, of the Hitma.
Right.
The Himma is in Serine TOUBA, but the Hitma in
and
work
reviving
is
the Sunnah of Prophet.
So you have them too.
Absolutely.
You have the Sunnah, but in the Sunnah, you have something very important, how to drive people to be in work and doing some good work.
That is Sunnah.
That is Sunnah.
That is Sunnah.
Which is right.
Absolutely.
That's what Serine TOUBA did.
That's the true Sunnah of Sheikh Ibrahim Afal. And also Saudi Arabia should be a cornerstone in terms of preserving that legacy. But don't you have worries a little bit when you hear these days, when you hear Saudi Arabia, it's about football, engaging players with high amount of money and concerts, having these guys from America, singers, and going to do huge concerts in Riyadh. That doesn't scare you?
I mean, cultural domination is something that we're witnessing in our environments, even though it's in Arabic world or in African world. Cultural domination coming from not from the United States, from every big country, France, Italy. They're trying to drive in their thoughts, their ideas, and change our minds. What is happening in Saudi Arabia is something that they're teaching them from Las Vegas, Arizona. If you go to Las Vegas, I've been 2-3 times in Vegas, but I've seen that these mullah, these big mullah that you have in Saudi Arabia, they're traveling to go and see some stripteasers. Yeah, they're traveling to do some gambling.
What goes in Vegas stays in Vegas.
You see, if you go to Treasure Islands by night, you'll see people. Similar. We've bringing some mystification in those places is what is happening. What they did with Arabic people, they will try to do it with Muridism, but we are decomplexified. That's our driven.
That's the nature.
Yeah, that's our strength.
Right.
If you see Mr. Guy working in universities in Canada and working in Ontario, Vancouver or Portland, with a big maktoum and a 3 pieces like this, a white one, with the heart, you say, who is this guy? It is an artist. No, I'm not an artist, I'm a murid.
Absolutely.
You see, you have to have your identity and you defend it.
Absolutely.
What is happening with Arabic people in Saudi Arabia, they have some good complex in front of the white people. Serine TOUBA worked on that part. In Murids, we don't have any complex with anyone.
Beautiful. By the way, salam to brother Kapalar Pui, who just sent me this beautiful maktoum.
MashaAllah. Very beautiful.
Made in Ghana, I believe. Handmade. Beautiful, made in Senegal. This is part of our patrimony, our culture here in Murid culture in Senegal. Thanks, brother Kapalar Pui. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you. If you just join us, brother Mahamadou Gaye, visiting a PhD from Montreal and Canada, doing a lot of work. We're going to come back to that when he talks about khitma, but he's done a lot of stuff in Jarem, Jurbel. Maybe he doesn't want to talk about it, but in order for other people to emulate from that, we're going to, inshallah, introduce his work in Jurbel, talking about, inshallah, preserving the legacy of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And if we talk about preserving the legacy, and we have Sheikh Ahmadul Khadim, Sheikh Ahmadu Bamba here in this country, radiallahu ta'ala, who've done a humongous work in terms of preserving that against the colonials. You know about it, and it's like another temptation from the colonials to stop the legacy of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Tell us about how colonials engage in Africa.
Now you're talking to me, because I mean, every time I say people, in any time, in any space, in any context, there is someone that can reveal something. Sheikhul Khadim, rahmatullahi alayhi, he brought us freedom. He brought us justice. He brought us respect, pride. Because in 1880s, what has happened is that the European colonial system, they just divided the continent in different parts, and everybody said, "This is my part of the cake."
In Berlin.
Yes, in Berlin with Bismarck. And once they took up the continent, they shared the resources. They were thinking that everything is done, but they couldn't take some people. In 1883, his father, Sayyid Mahmoud Antasali, is never here, and then all the other, royal powers are here, but he didn't follow them. He said that I will create my own society, my own way of thinking. That way of thinking was a non-violence fight, which is going on still, because he taught his followers how to go and occupy all the places that we need to occupy in the surroundings. Daru Rahman, Daru Khafor, Daru Minan, Daru
Muhti.
Yes, all those Daru and those Dara, they are just places where the legacy of the Sunnism in the fundamental ways were taught in Jurubel, but shared in those places.
Promoted in that area.
And in the interland, only the foreland. The colonial system were in the foreland. If you go from Casablanca to Cape Town, you'll find all the big capitals, all the big places where they are, because they are ports. But Sri Tuba said, I'm not going to these ports, I'm going in the land. He went into the land and started building his Dara and Daru. That's why they caught him. Why they caught him? Because that guy was, in a fractal manner, was trying to set up a model where he will free and teach the country and what they bring in. They were bringing their French, English, and their, their evangelism. But he was teaching them Islam, the Orthodox Islam, with Hikmah, with Hima, in the Ibadas, how to do Salat, how to do all those things. And he was gaining a lot of power between the communities. That's why they said, we need just to catch this guy and make him go away somewhere in exile. That's why they took him to some places. But they didn't know that where they took him, in Mayumba, where they took him in Lambarane, in Jole and other places that I visited. That's where right now in the world we are witnessing the much more interesting thing in sustainable development. Because all those species that are really extincted in the world, they exist in those places right now. If you go to those places, it means that Serine Touba was sent to places that are really holy, that are wholly protected, until now people start saying that these places, we don't have it in these places, but we have it in Mayumba, we have it in Lambarene, we have it in those places where Serine Touba visited. So Serine Touba is on the right way, Serine Touba is on the right realm, and we Murids should be happy and proud of it, and we should understand that we are pure Islamic founders, not just those in Badr, but we are the same like those in Badr right now, because the context is not the same. But Serine Touba in 1880s bring us Sunnism in a pure manner, which is driven by the Islamic principles, and we are gaining faith, we are gaining power, we are doing our job, and we are free. We are free and proud of our Muridism.
Alhamdulillah. Still, the Sheikh did a humongous work, of course, liberating his nation. After he returned from exile. Actually, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ went through the same procedure when he was in Mecca. A lot of his parents turned away from him, and he was exiled to Madinatul Munawwar by teaching akhlaq. إنما البعثت لأتمم المكارم الأخلاق. And all these akhlaqiyat are resounding in the Quran. Ma'am Aisha, our mother, Sayyidatuna Aisha, described the Prophet on this beautiful manner. His character is the Quran. And if you look at Sheikh Ahmadu Bamba, when he called for this order, and he said, Shafahani Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Prophet told me to call the people and train them in himma, as you mentioned in our questions. I mean, tell me, what was the how Serine Touba managed to put himma in these tulab, in these murids, and that made them thrive in the time that was really difficult because of the colonials.
What happened is that those that was the real sane ones, the good ones in Africa at the same time, they went for Quranic studies, they went for research in different places, for Sunnah, for different types of perspectives. But once Sheikh al-Khadim came in and start developing and start talking to people about Muridism and the new way of following and doing the practical Islam, the real one, all those sheikhs, you can name them: Serigne Adama Gueye, Serigne Mor Mbaye, Serigne Massamba Diop Sam, Cheikh Ibra Sarr Njaañ, Cheikh Abdourahmane Lo, Cheikh Mohamed La Gueye Jamoy, and those, Serigne Issa Diène, all those, they were already prepared. They had everything that they should know. But what was missing in the Himma? How to connect to God. Not just in your prayers, but how in real you have to connect to the other level. And Serigne Touba is the only one at that period, the only one on earth that can do that. That's why he was saying them, I'm not here to teach anymore. I'm not teaching. I'm taking you to the other level. If you're here waiting for studies or waiting for something, you can go. But if you're waiting to know the right way to get to God, I'm here for that. So the thing that Sheikh al-Khadim bring in Muridism at that period is how to elevate a human being to go to the celestial connection, to the celestial level, and understand what God is about. But if you go to Mayumba and you look at the area, you look at the ocean, you look at the rivers, you look at the big forests, you look at the species that you see, gorillas and others, crocodiles, and you say, in 1895, there's no light, there's no power, there's no transportation, there's no roads, there's nobody. But a human being was here.
Unwelcome forest.
Nobody could understand that. But Serigne Touba said that even before he was leaving Mbacké Bari and Cheyenne Jolof, to get to St. Louis, Dakar, and other places, Conakry, and get to to Mayumba, there was a written word in that last book that he wrote in Mbacké Bari, Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakilu. The other one is Amitu Yaximuni mina darar min kulli shaytanin wa jinnin wa bashar. Wa hala imsh la takhsha darar. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam talked to him that he was already in the crown. Serigne Touba was already in the crown in Mbacké Bari before he left. He told him, get up, move, make your move, everything is fine, nothing will happen, nobody will touch you, you will come here safe, you can go. He didn't go yet. It was in the preparation, but he got what we call the signature of God, the signature of the Prophet, that you are protected, and we assure you that you can make this travel and come back.
And that's amazing, Professor Mamadou Gaye.
That level.
And this is kind of mind-boggling. When you see Serigne Touba, when he first founded TOUBA, he sat on in a tent, a wooden one, and wrote Matlabul Fawzain, and asked Allah for everything he wanted, and Allah gave him everything later on. And before he went to Gabon,
the same thing happened.
That's Matlabul Fawzain. Before he stepped out of Mbacké Jolof, like he said, he wrote Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil, and writing all these, and also Ayasaminillahu in the Jewali, Iblis is nadetiyo biyawali. Allamani Rahmanu fi Safina, bi'annani ghadi fil Madina. And then there was also a way he has to travel with the colonials, all the trials he had. He also, on the way, he wrote Asiru Mal Abrar, and said deeply what the connection he have with Allah. So that's something very amazing with Serigne Touba in terms of his relationship with Allah and the Prophet, by prophesying what's coming and all the gifts and
sometimes our Khalifa, Yàlla na fi yàgg te wér, Cheikh Mountakha Bachir, may God give him health and
Ya Rab,
say that we have him. That everything is okay. We have him. We have Serene.
And that's enough.
That's enough. We don't need
La
anybody
ilaha
else.
illallah.
It's a very deep.
That's a
you
high,
know,
that's
yeah,
a high
that's
state
level.
though. Right.
The thing is, there are three things that where you have them in one place, you should now think Islam, Ihsan, and Iman. Nobody can go over an Iman that you see in Serene Touba. Well, I was in Mayumba and was saying me that there are some kind of mosquitoes, big ones, the very dangerous ones, in the deep forest, in equatorial forest. When Mam Sheikh
It's called
Anta
the Mush ZZ,
yeah, the Setse one.
Right.
When they came to see him, all his body was covered by those mosquitoes. And he was saying, you don't worry
and
about
when I heard when they bite you, you sleep.
yes,
They call it
they couldn't do anything.
Right.
Everything is in Asdallah wa Nimal Wakil. Nothing will happen. Just move. Nothing will happen. And when they asked him, Serine Adama and Serine Mam Sheikh Anta, he said that really what I wanted to tell you is that, is it possible to leave me here? I feel just good in God, in this place, so heavenly. I don't want to go to Senegal anymore. I want to stay. They forced him to come back. Yes. They said, no, we have to take you now. He was ready to stay in there.
Need you,
and we were thinking about hardships and difficulties. He was at that level that nothing will, will be a problem or a pain. Serene Touba doesn't feel pains. Serene Touba is at that level where, I mean, Al-Hilm just can't grasp it. Al-Amal can't grasp it. Action can't grasp it. You have to be in Himma to understand who Serene Touba is. Serene Touba is at the other level. He's in the heavenly side of it. Everything was done by God to make him the perfect person on earth to do what he has done. Beautiful. Nobody will do it again.
Absolutely.
What he did, nobody will do it again. Serene Touba is not here between us. As we said, not in a murid way. We said just like that. I know that Serene Touba is here. And we are talking. How many countries, how many capitals in the world you have with Kari Serene Touba in the world? How many Kari Serene Touba do you have in the world?
Uncountable.
And he was here until 1927. From 1927 to now, you have thousands and thousands of Kari Serene Touba. Why? That's the question.
Absolutely.
Why? People think that it's easy to understand. Why?
Even when I was checking on the maps, 28% of the planet is inhabited. So that's the whole planet is Touba then. 28%. The other part
everywhere is Touba.
Ocean. So
everywhere is Touba.
28% of the globe is only
Serene Touba New York, Serene Touba Atlanta,
absolutely.
Serene Touba Cincinnati,
absolutely.
Serene Touba Cleveland,
absolutely.
Serene Touba Rome, Serene Touba Paris.
Beautiful.
Why? Because of the teachings of the Himma, something that is moving orthogonally, with a translation around the world in different places. We've just good.
Ricochet everywhere.
We've just good.
Absolutely.
We've just respect.
Alhamdulillah.
We've just openness. We've just work.
Beautiful.
We've just respect. If you see a murid in the United States, don't worry about him. He's in the right way. He's doing just his money and going back home. He doesn't need anything else. Not compared to anybody else from Asia or from Europe or from other continents.
Beautiful.
The murids are the murids. They are themselves.
Beautiful.
But they are organized in a way. They are socialized in a way. They are working in a way. They are talking in a way that if you see them, you see that these guys are already going to somewhere. Where they're going, that's the way Serene Touba bring them in Himma. They got Hitma in here, but now they are in Himma. They're moving. And they're moving in Himma.
We're going to proceed, Professor Mamadou Gaye, but if you just join us, we're having a treat again, having our Professor PhD from inshallah, the University of Montreal and Canada here visiting, talking about the legacy of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Concentrating on him right now. We're going to move over to Amal, inshallah. You can follow us on Facebook if you want. Echo from TOUBA, like the page, send us your questions. Thanks to all the followers of Echo from TOUBA who came for the Magal. By the way, it was a beautiful one. The connection we have with all of you guys. guys from England and from US and Ghana, South Africa, all the Murids in the English-speaking one, really, who know this program and keep asking questions and everything. Really, thank you for whatever you've done for the past Magal. You can also like our page, our YouTube channel is gonna help permeate the message of Serigne Touba. The only reason we're doing this again is because of his one-of-a-kind Hadallahu Ma'akhtarallah. Serigne Touba, his legacy has to be known. We're going to talk about, inshallah, with Professor Mamadou Gaye, how we can organize that and let the world have the opportunity to know who Serigne Touba. Whoever doesn't like Serigne Touba is just you kind of have some information you're missing, because once you know who Serigne Touba, well, nobody can know who Serigne Touba is, but once you know something about this person, this man, I'm sure you just gonna love him. And also we talk about now him. We're gonna move over to amal, action, and I remember Professor. But before I step to that, is it what we call bahya? You know, is it this is the key of the Muridiyya? I mean, the key of success of the Muridiyya, because people tend to forget that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he went to Hudaybiyah, heading to Mecca, he sat under a tree, and there he asked for everyone to come and do the allegiance to him. Even they were already Murid, they were already, I mean, Muslims. But he asked everyone to come and do that, and do the pledge to him, do the engagement, notion or motivation to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they did it. And when there was the what do you call them again? The battle of the last one they did, the faraway one, and he was asking the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, asked everyone to bring whatever they participate in that. Sayyidina Usman came in with a fortune and helped. He bought all the horses, all the munitions they had to take, and what the Prophet spent all night praying for Sayyidina Usman. On that day, he said, from now on, whatever Sayyidina Usman does is over. Allah pardoned him already. So, is it that key of engagement, of doing the pledge, being a murid, coming to a sheikh, to Serigne Touba, and doing the bayha? Is it the key of success of the murids?
No, I think that the success of murids is just what I call the acceptation, the fact that they accept Shaykh al-Khadim as he is. Like Serigne Abdullah had said, the one who accepts the way that God made Serigne Touba is a murid.
Nangu dogal.
Accept it really deeply, and not just this way, but you say, I accept the Serigne Touba is something made by God. It's not just something that we see in here. Once you accept, when you have that acceptance in yours, that means that you are righteous, you're respectful, you are Muslim, you are a hard worker, you are decomplexified. The success of anyone is first to believe in yourself. Serigne Touba worked on us to believe in ourselves. Everybody was saying, these are indigenous people, they don't know anything, they are in the countryside. From the 1960s to 70s, they don't believe in us.
It was
and
hard.
After the 70s,
it was hard.
I
was in Dakar. I've lived it. Been there, done that.
All the billionaires from the 70s, Jilimbai, Njuga Kebe, and then in the 80s, 90s, in the 2000 years, all the billionaires, Sheikh Amar, and look at the billionaires in the country, all of them, they are murids. Why?
The Amal lessons.
Because first of all, they give you the helm. Serigne Touba will go with you like Serigne Saliou did hell. Before he come to come, before you have hell come, you have the hell. Serigne Touba will work on your spirit.
Right.
He will build you as a perfect human. Insanu Kamil. That's what Serigne Touba is trying to set up in us. To be an insan and kamil. Not a human, but a complete human.
But you can inculcate that to a person without that disciple doing the bahya itself, like they did in Hudaybiyah or in Mbacké Kadior.
But if you do the bahya,
you can be a murid without
if you do the bahya, but you don't go through the tarbiyah, you don't go through the tarhiyah, you are not complete yet. You do the back here, that's good, but it's not enough. You have to go now and start being in the writings, in the readings, in the fundamental Islam. You have to understand first, and then they'll tell you, you understand that now. This is the level of knowledge. That's enough. Now you go to the amal. Go and bring us some wood.
Right.
Ask who you are. Go and bring up some. That is, they have to take you at the top level, and you go also in the down level. So you go from down up every time. The murid will be in the two sides. Whoever you are as a murid, how rich you are, how wealthy you are. If you are a murid, you'll come to us, you'll give the hand. First, once you give the hand, you do the sujood. Why? Because you accept that we are the same, we are brothers, we are respectful, you count, I count, we are at the same level. Even though you are a peasant, I'm a banker, we are the same level.
Absolutely.
That's the job. That
level,
level of of humanity. I think that Serigne Touba, out of being
puts you down to elevate you.
Yes. The way that you go, the way that you feel is elevating you. The more I go to Jurbel, the more I go to TOUBA or other places to travel, what I've seen is that the elder ones that you see, the white-bearded ones, they are the most simple, humble, and down-to-earth people. I think that being even in longevity, being really in health, is just being down to earth.
Absolutely.
The more you're down to earth, the more you're humble, the more you're simple,
the more successful
the more successful you be.
Absolutely.
And the murid is that. We are humble people. We murids are humble. The difference between us and the others is the way that we behave.
Beautiful.
If I come to your place, I'll say, Sheikh, why? Sheikh. I elevate you right there.
Right.
Even though I don't know who you are, but I know that you have the heart, you have the, you're a murid, I go down right there.
Right.
This is the way that we should understand things, is that humanity should be at the level of the earth, at the level of the ground. Once you are at the level of the ground, you'll be at the level of the skies.
Beautiful. And also, like Amal, Khidma is a central theme in the teaching of Serigne Touba from the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Tell me about, is it Khidma and Amal is the same thing?
The most difficult thing for the murid is to understand Khidma. Khidma is you give up your ego, you give up everything. You give up your own self to the community. You give up yourself to the country. You give up yourself to your surroundings. If you are in an environment and you are in Khidma, you are the one that can give yourself to everybody in terms of working, in terms of helping, in terms of sharing, and doing some deeds, some good deeds. Khidma is something very difficult. If you look at someone like Serigne Fallou Mbacké was in Khidma on a daily basis. Someone was coming to his house every day and saying, my wife had a baby yesterday. Every 2 days the guy come and say, my wife had a baby yesterday. And the name is Serigne Fallou. I give him the boy's name is Serigne Fallou. Say, yeah, I need some money to go buy some clothes and something for him. Say, okay, take this money for him and give it to his mother, and this for yourself. Okay, you can go back. The guy in 2, 3, 4 days will come back. And Serigne Fallou was doing the same thing. And some people will ask him, why do you do that? He say, once you're coming to me trying to that you're fooling me because you believe in Serigne Touba, and that the power I had is that I can serve the humanity anytime. I will do it the same way every time.
Help you out.
Come back, I'll do it the same way.
Subhanallah. That's a beautiful sense of Khidma.
Yeah,
right. Is it heritage?
Khidma is it's another level.
He called himself Khadim al-Rasul. You know, he's working for the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam through many levels.
You give your own self to the community, you give yourself to your surroundings, you give yourself to the family, to everybody. Even the people, they look at you, they say that you're not hiding something for yourself. You're here to share.
It reminds me what Sheikh Muntaha said one day when he was his first message opening when he was Caliph. He said, my superior, I used to leave them with themselves and give them, you know.
That's what Serigne Saliou did. Serigne Saliou is that's The perfect example of khidma is Sri Saliu Mbake.
Right.
Sri Saliu had different places where he was doing agriculture. Is everybody asking where he was gathering all this wealth? He was taking everything for the Khalifat of Sheikh Khadim.
Right.
Whatever he got, he will come and give to Sri Abdullah or Sri Falo or someone else. Doesn't need anything.
And someone like Mam Sheikh Ibrahim Fall, he's forte.
No, he's the incarnation. Right? He's the incarnation of Hitma.
Of Hitma.
Yes.
Beautiful.
If you're talking about Hitma, you're talking about Mam Sheikh Fall. He's the right sample. But how to be like him is not possible. Srin Touba said that nobody can be like him.
Even subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah told Srin Touba, when you need to rest in your compound here in Jurbel, go rest in a place where Mam Sheikh Ibrahim Fall built here.
Yes.
Go rest over there in that place.
Yes.
To tell you how his khidmah was.
Sometimes he was asking people to bring him some millet for preparing some lakh or something, some food.
Right.
But he was saying, is it from the field of Mam Sheikh Fall? He was making the difference. Yeah, he was making the difference because he knows that the respect, the concentration, the perception that Mam Sheikh had about the Sheikh is different. Even though he was doing big fields on different places like agriculture and husbandry and things, he was doing it just for the Sheikh, not like other people. Not in the same way of doing it, because he was doing it in full khidmah. So Mam Sheikh is khidmah in the move, every way. That's why Baifal is something, it's not a small word. Baifal. Baifal, Bai means that the big father. Fal, Mam Sheikh Fall is the Baifal. Now everybody was saying him as the Bai, the name is Fal. So the Baifal is Mam Sheikh Fall. So people should be really open-minded about the Baifalism. They should be open-minded about khidmah. Even though we're thinking about changing and going to elections, presidential elections, I think that we need to think about who's the one in between all those guys, those leaders with khidmah in himself. If you don't have khidmah, you're not ready to give yourself to the population, you're not the president. If you're thinking about yourself to make some wealth, you're not the guy. We're looking for that guy who is thinking about the people. You're thinking about
prior to that, you have to have some education inserted in you.
Yes, but you have to go and get ready.
Absolutely.
Sometimes I'm saying that a good murid that went to big schools, big universities, should be the leader. Because if you're a good murid and you have the knowledge of the world, of the global economy and the global politics, you can run the country in a way such, with humanity, with respect, no complex, with respect to the culture and the religions.
Absolutely.
I think
respect is part of our religion. We have to respect each other, and also, like he said, really concentrate on khidmah, amal, and also himma, like you said, himma, amal, and also the khidmah you said. But all this teaching of Srin Touba in a time that is really not cooperative, the colonials are here, and he did it in a peaceful way. He was the most non-violent individual we've ever known. How Srin Touba cope with that, with the colonials teaching the message, preserving the legacy of Srin Touba in a non-violent way? Tell us about that.
I think that Srin Touba went and had the big, readings and writings of the big imams, and what he got is that he got the right Islam. He went to the historical Islam, and he knew about the writings, because if you go to the Daimanis, Srin Touba went there, and the Daimanis went to him. Srin Touba, when he went to Sarsara, the Mauritanians, they went to him and they paid allegiance to him. Why? Never in the world people will understand that white Arabic people will go and accept to give themselves to Srin Touba. That happened in Mauritania, and I'm sure the day that the Arabic people asked him, he went to Touba and asked him that they need help because they need some prayers
from Medina. Right?
Yes, and he did it, and they told him that you're the one that they show us. I'm pretty sure that's something holy, something heavenly. Srin Touba, if you look at it, I think is one of a kind that we got in that this our human civilization that we won't have it again because he gathered east and west, north and south in knowledge. The fundamental knowledge of Islam is in Serign Touba.
Every goodness you look for is in Serign Touba.
He went and found it. He went and found it. There's nothing that you can ask him in Islam that he doesn't know. He knows. And in the meantime, he was in the future because he was seeing neocolonialism of the independence. Today, what we're witnessing is that we have everything, we don't have nothing. We don't have nothing. You have oil, you have gas, you have fishing, you have husbandry. But where are your mills? Where are your units, your fabrics? Where are your industry? We don't have any industry. We're depending on someone industry. They're just taking the raw material to their places, making the goods and bringing it to us to sell. We're just consumers. And Serign Touba didn't accept that. Serign Touba was saying, we are not accepting that. We are transforming our environment. Go to Jurbel and look at the house, the compound of Serign Touba. That's the good lesson. No place in Jurbel is as clean as that place. You can't see even a piece of paper flying. You won't see any noise. You'll see the environment. Big trees, nice birds that you don't see in Dakar even. That's if you're in here in early in the morning, 4 in the morning, and this you take your time, you'll see that Serign Touba showed a model that if we have to think about developing the country, we go from that model. You have it in the middle, and you have the compounds. Women, Mam Sherafal, Seng Masamba, and the kids, Sering Basiru, Seng Mustafa. And he's in the middle.
But what is stopping us from, looking up to that model right now?
No,
is it the reason why Africa is lacking?
We are witnessing a situation where we are losing our leadership. Africa is losing the leadership because we are just copying. We are not unraveling what we got and trying to work on it, but we are just copying.
Copying others.
Our kids are all in their iPhones and they're looking for YouTube and what's happening in the US and what's happening in Korea, in South Korea, somewhere else. But they're not trying to see what is happening in Jurbel. What's going to taught us in Jurbel? We have to come back to us. We have to come back to us to do some introspection, not just to do some prospection, but what's happening tomorrow. Let's think about what is in ourselves, what we have, and we go from that and we value that. If you don't value what you got, you lose what you have.
Absolutely.
What's happening in Senegal and other places in Africa, we are looking towards what's happening overseas and what's happening in our countries. Education, health, everything, economy, politics, everything is extraverted. Something around France, something around United States and China, not about Senegal. And look at TOUBA. How can you understand? We have Matlabul Fawzaini, where Serign Touba got everything from the heavens in that holy city. And today, flood is all over the place and you can't even go for the Magal. How can you explain that? Because we are not looking at what we got. Everything is already done by Serign Touba. Let's go from there and build something.
Build something new.
We need to go and build, not just looking and being happy. No, we need to go and do in khidmah the job that we should do. Even though we got the blessings, we need to go and do something.
Absolutely.
That's what's happening in TOUBA. TOUBA with health, TOUBA with education, TOUBA with transportation. All those things are issues, big issues.
What as a professor yourself, where do you see the university coming? We was a dream of the Sheikh, a wish, and then alhamdulillah the Sheikh realized it. Is it the university comes on time where all these things you've said are going to be resolved in the university?
The complex, the university complex,
Sheikh
Khadim. In the meantime, I need to thank and congratulate and really wish a lot of success to Sheikh Ahmad Badawi, my sheikh, my friend, my colleague. In these days,
he's the dean over there, right?
Yes, he's the dean. He's doing the good job in there. But the first step is the first step. We need to set up the strategy.
Absolutely.
If you go for something that you want to be perpetrated in 20 years or 50 years with results, you have to plan. We need to go and set up our policy, set up our strategy.
Is that already done? Or?
Yeah, they're working on it. They're working on it. Right. Because if you can't answer in 10 years, what will be this university? How many people do you have? How many teachers do you train? How many economy you will create?
Even the chef said 300 years from
yes,
now.
Yes. If you can't answer the 10 years coming, what's happening? You're in jeopardy. So a university is a place. It's not a madrasa. It's not a school. Right. A university where
it's high level.
Yes, it's really high level where you have people from Saudi Arabia, from Europe, from America, from China coming in. My wish is one day being at the university and meeting some professors from China.
Are you active?
Yes, I'm with them.
Right.
Being in the university and meeting Chinese people coming to research Serign Touba for a PhD program.
It's gonna come.
Yeah, that's my wish.
Right.
My wish is that one day Russian people coming from Russia and saying that we are coming here to do some research on Serign Touba and Muridism.
Right.
Not just French or United States. No, these are Western world. Is here, but the other people, the big places, coming in from big universities and coming into partnerships, in good partnerships, in academic partnerships with TOUBA to develop some new ways of
you see the Magal we had this past month. All the delegations that came in from different countries. I've heard the narrator said there's close to, I believe, 90 from 90 different countries working with their own delegations in TOUBA. Is it also an opportunity there to have that,
I think diplomacy is one thing. TOUBA need now to develop to another level, not just around the Caliphate, but around the Caliphate, a group of experts and consultants, high-level ones, global ones that are really embedded with different universities, different institutions and spheres, to come and bring up their ideas. TOUBA need now our knowledge, our expertise, the one that we are giving to UNDP and the World Bank. And why don't we give it to TOUBA? Right. They should give it to TOUBA.
Right. But they should ask for it.
They should open. They should
open the doors, right?
Open up.
Right.
The only problem that you have is they don't open up. They will say, yeah, bring. But once you start bringing, they close.
It up. Why is it? Is it these people don't
no,
want it?
I think that there's a kind of
lobby.
No, kind of fear. Kind of fear that if we let these guys, these intellectual people from universities, they will take it over. They will take the thing. At the meantime, I think that fearing something is a danger. There's no risk. Knowledge is knowledge. You can't build knowledge out of knowledge. The knowledge is global. Let's go to global level. If we want to develop a university, we need to go to the global level.
Absolutely.
If you want to develop a university at the local level, you're becoming a madrasa or a school.
That's a madrasa.
That's it.
Right. I think it's going to happen, though. We're going to build it up
we are on the
for a different level. We heading out of time right now, and I've seen on WhatsApp groups you've opened something like Murid and Layen, our brotherhood here in Dakar from Sayyidina Imam Hussein Isa. There's a fraternity you've opened in WhatsApp as a group. Tell me about your connection with the Lion community.
Yes, I'm so happy to talk about it. Fraternité Murid Lion is a brotherhood.
All right.
Coming from,
so happy to be part of that.
Yes, thank you so much for being with us. Let me just say that every time we are praying for peace in this country. And if you see two religious groups, going almost 50 to 60 to 70 years together and doing some good deeds, you need to nurture that and encourage that.
Absolutely.
I've seen that in 1949, Sri Fallu Mbake asked Murids from Dakar to go and pray at Camberain,
at the shrine of,
yes. And in the meantime, I've seen Mam Babakar Lai giving the name Basiru Lai, Imam Basiru, to Sheikh Bashir Mbake,
son of Serign Touba,
Ibn Sheikh Al-Khadim. I've seen Sheikh Mbake Lai from Serign Abdullah Chow Lai. I've seen Serign Abdullah Lai from Serign Abdullah Chow Lai. And I've seen Sheikh Khadim Lai from him, and Mam Jara Lai also. And I say, every time that I go to any kind of gathering, lion gathering, they start with Muhadimatul Amda, they start with Jazbul Khulub, they start with Sindidi. And I say, these are lions, but they are performing really good.
Very open-minded.
Open-minded. And I say, the one that was taking it and piloting it, all this, and driving it is not here anymore. Sering Abdullah Chawlai, why don't we just create a group where the sons of Sering Abdullah, sons of other Khalifs and Murids and Bakis and good guys share and start building something. And I see something is coming up because we start being together. This Magal of TOUBA invited lions. They were with me. Sering Musa Lai, Imam Musa Lai Gai, Imam of Yumbal, son of Imam Zahir Gai, was with me in TOUBA in this Magal 2023. Gilayad from Gainde system, a big lion, very, very well known, was with me. Sayyidina Isa Diop Lai, the friend, the father of one of your friends, was with me in TOUBA. Right. So this is the way it should be. We are all Muslims, and they love us. They love us and they respect us. Why don't we just open up and let them be in with us?
Absolutely.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Beautifully done. Beautifully done. I hope all the communities, Lion community is a very fine community.
No, they are very fine.
And Alhamdulillah, and all of them here, the Nyasen, the Tijani.
Yes, all of them.
All one
all of
group,
them.
we're loving one Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Time is out. Tell us about your last word on Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, his beautiful legacy, the perpetration of Sri
What I will
and
say,
Rabi al-Awwal coming.
What I will say is that Maulud Nabi is coming, and the friend of Sheikh al-Khadim is with him always. We are waiting for Maulud Nabi. Sering TOUBA isn't Maulud Nabi ever.
Absolutely.
Because he received the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in Jurbel for 15 days.
Subhanallah.
In the same house, in the same compound, in the same place, Buqatul Mubarak, where I really congratulate.
Where you've done also great work for the preservation.
I'm really thankful to.
I forgot even to mention that, but he's been doing a lot of work
to Lampfal
in the
TV.
Compound,
No, I'm doing a little bit, but Lampfal TV with Mr. Chun, Sering Chun, is doing a great work. If you go to the place where the Sheikh was, the job that has been done these 4 or 5 years, that's Lampfal TV.
Beautiful, beautiful.
We are happy about it. And there are some developments that they are trying to do in the meantime. What we're trying to set up is, right now, my last word is, we get ready for Mayumba, we get ready for Gabon, we get ready for the Gabonese community with the ambassador in Dakar to work together to get to Sheikh Muntaha and to develop something with the legacy of Sering TOUBA in Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Because Sering TOUBA is in, he's not out of it, he's always in, because he's the most connected person to the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So we Murids are in our Mawlid on a daily basis.
Beautiful.
Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is our reference. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is our own icon, and Sering TOUBA is the driver.
Absolutely.
He is the driver for us Murids.
La shakka fi.
La shakka fi. Barakallahu fikum.
Thank
Merci
you so much.
Beaucoup. Thank you so much. We are so happy.
There's many parts of your life and what you've done. We want to talk about it, but time is so short. Hopefully you're going to come back, Professor Guy. It's not going to be your first time. You're going to be keep coming, inshallah.
Thank you so much.
In order for us to share the knowledge you have. Talking about Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Mahad Mahabbati al-Mukhtara Sayyidina, Hubbi al-Maghani wal-Ahli wal-Walada. He said, Dammi wa ahli wa awladi fidahu lahu. That is a relationship just impossible to explain. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and Sheikh Ahmadu Bamba. That was it. Our program today of Echo from TOUBA. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Happy Mawlid to everyone. Jërëjëf Sering TOUBA. Jarama Mam Cheikh Ibrahim Fall. Thank you so much, Professor.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You are the